Hey guys, we are upstairs on the first floor here, and let me show you. By the way, this is part 3 of a 3-part series, so make sure you check out the first 2 parts. And in this part, I'm going to show you guys the games I have on my first floor and in my garage. Actually, the garage is all projects, but these 2 games I love, and these are actually the games that I play when I don't want to turn everything on in the basement. And I love these games, and they're actually part of my house. Yes, I know it's weird, but it's actually one of the first things you see when you walk in my home is these games. So, but this right here is a dedicated, original Bally Midway Miss Pac-Man. And Miss Pac-Man, for me, it is, I probably have a top 5 favorite games, like Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong Jr., you know, stuff like that. You know, I don't really get into the rare, uber rare games. I have more fun playing these types of games. And let's face it, the reason these games are household names and the reason that these games are still around is because they're damn good. And Miss Pac-Man is no exception. I love Miss Pac-Man. You know, some of those rare games, there's a reason that they're rare. Probably because they suck, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I know there's a few exceptions, but I think for the most part, that always seems to be true. But anyway, I love Miss Pac-Man. I had to have, this is actually my 2nd or 3rd game I bought. And I was really picky about what my Miss Pac-Man was going to be like because, and I actually looked for a long time because this side art, this screen print art, fades a lot, and you'll see a lot of Miss Pac-Mans that are very faded. The colors on mine are pretty good. I do have some hand wear right here, which is pretty typical because when you're playing the game, you're kind of holding the cabinet like that. But other than that, the cabinet's very solid. It's all original. I did do one thing to it though. I stuck MAME in it. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. I put MAME in this cabinet. I did it right though. I did it tastefully. I didn't hack anything up. What I did is I used a Pac to JAMA adapter, so I was able to keep my original wiring harness, and I plugged that into a computer. I had the computer actually hidden back here. It's not in the cabinet, it's actually on the floor outside the cabinet. And then I got a reproduction control panel and overlay. I took the original control panel and I tucked it away. So if I ever want to convert this back to an original Miss Pac-Man, I can do that in about 10 minutes tops. I've got the original PCB. All I do is unplug the JAMA adapter, plug in my original PCB, throw the old control panel back on, and bam, I'm done. And it plays Miss Pac-Man flawlessly. Perfect. So there's really no reason not to do this because I'm not sacrificing anything. I could still play one of my favorite games, Miss Pac-Man. It's still great. It's still, I mean, you cannot tell the difference between the MAME version of Miss Pac-Man and my original PCB at all. And if you can, I call you. If you can notice a difference, I think you're a liar because you can't tell. And so there's really, you're not sacrificing much here. So how it works is you select a game and you play it, right? But how do you get to the menu system? So right now I already booted up Miss Pac-Man. So you press the 1-player, 2-player button, and then it brings you to my menu system. And I created a custom Malla layout, which is a front end for MAME. And I created it so that you select games by marquee, and then when you select a game, it shows a attract mode video or video of the game being played. So it kind of gives you a video preview of what you're about to play. And it's actually very handy and very great. And I added this here. It still shows you how many times the game's been played. So Circus Charlie's been played 71 times. And then you can set up game lists. So this is my popular list. And this is actually a dynamic list of top 10 games. And it's always changing. So you know, it constantly changes. So, and then you can scroll left or right to select different lists. I created a list here called MCR games. And creating lists is very easy. I actually did one thing that kind of makes that is actually great. If you come over here, let me show you on my computer. I have a Wi-Fi card in my computer back there, and I can VNC into the computer, and I can make changes. So actually, let me show you. So if I hit exit here, all right. So now here I am in Windows, and if we go back to machine, you'll see. Well, Yeah, it's in Windows because I'm controlling this computer remotely from my Mac. And it's actually important to me because I never have to get out a mouse. I never have to get out a keyboard. I can do it all right here from my Mac, and I can launch Malla. I can make changes. I can modify things all from my Mac and not have to get behind there, not have to touch the computer. And so if you go into the Malla options like this, here's all my Malla options, so I can do it all from over here. So if you do a MAME setup like I have, I really recommend using a VNC program, and you can VNC into this. And I use a free VNC. It didn't cost me anything to do that. I bought a really cheap Wi-Fi card, and I threw it in that PC. I actually have an ancient PC. It's a Intel Celeron. So anyway, that's my MAME cabinet. I like it. I like it a lot. And so here, I just played Pig Time Pilot, so it's loading. And by the way, I do have a full video of my Malla setup, more in depth if you want to check it out. But you can see it works just like the original PCB. It did the normal boot sequence that the PCB would do. And to coin up, you press one player and one player fire, and there's Time Pilot. And so these kind of games, these original games from 80, 81, 82, 83, all play fantastic on this. I do have, like I said, a slow Celeron PC, but it's okay because the games that I want to play that are actually good for this setup play fantastic on this ancient PC. So it doesn't cost a lot to get a MAME setup going. So, and then over here I have a original Atari Centipede Cabaret. And Cabaret, what that means is it's a smaller cabinet. It was designed to go into a smaller space. So space was a concern in a bar or an arcade or whatever. They sold these Cabaret versions. And what's good about the Atari ones is that a lot of them, they used a full-size 19-inch monitor. So you're not sacrificing much at all with these. The only thing you're really sacrificing is the artwork that would be on the full-size version. But I have to say, I kind of like these Atari Cabarets better than the uprights. I don't know, there's something about them. I would definitely take a Centipede Cabaret over an upright any day. And I know other people would say, no way, the artwork is so great. But you know what? I like this cabinet. It's perfect. It's comfortable. It's small. I can just have it up here. And I bought this from a guy, and he actually put a mod in this. This is a lit up trackball, because normally Centipede would just have an opaque white trackball, but he put an LED lit trackball, and actually it's a clear trackball with a blue LED underneath. It's kind of cool. It doesn't bother me. I left it in. And then he also added a fluorescent bulb behind the marquee. On the Cabarets, on the Atari Cabarets, that marquee light would never light up. So I don't know why they did that, because I don't think they saved that much money. And it's like they were thinking about doing it because there's an opening in a cavity there for a fluorescent bulb, so it's very easy mod to do. So if you have one of these, I really recommend it. And the other thing I recommend is the Multipede kit, which I have installed. So right now Centipede is on, but if you press the 1-player and 2-player button, it quickly switches to Millipede. And so essentially I have two games in one cabinet. I always love those types of mods. And Millipede, it's okay. It's a good game, don't get me wrong, but I am not good at it. It's very, very challenging. And but it's basically like Centipede on steroids, and you move the character around with the trackball if you've never played Centipede. Yeah, actually, it's worth mentioning. You know, if you've never played Centipede or Millipede on a arcade cabinet, you know, the whole movement was with the trackball, which was, I think, kind of revolutionary for the time. And the movement's very fluid. But yeah, for my money, Centipede is a much calmer, relaxing game. Millipede is just like out of control. But the other cool thing about doing this mod is that you get to save all top 10 scores, whereas normally Centipede, I think Millipede too, would only save the top 5 or 3. I forget what it is. And also with the mod is that you cannot apply the Multipede mod to a Millipede board. To a Centipede board. You have to use a Millipede board. So I wanted to do the mod right away, so I had to go out and get a Millipede board. And Millipede and Centipede, the boards are actually swappable. You can put a Millipede board in a Centipede and vice versa. But to do the mod, you have to apply the mod to the Millipede board. So if you want to do that, Brazington makes the kit. I actually bought it at Arcade Shop. That's the Multipede kit. So anyway, that's it for upstairs. Let's go in the garage. Let me show you this mess of a garage I have. and then that's it. Okay, so here we are in the garage, and this is kind of like my arcade workshop. I guess you could say it's really messy right now because I've been working on a lot of stuff, but you know, in a few months, or a month even, this is all going to be gone and put away until next summer, but gotta get my cars in here for the winter. But right now, I'm currently working on this. This is my main project. I'm working desperately to get this done and get one of these in my basement. I actually have 3 Frogger cabinets here, and I know I might be insane, but I picked up this one first, and it works great, but I'm actually in the middle of restoring it. This is, I have a reproduction control panel overlay that I'm going to put on there. I also picked up side art for it, but this one works great. The cabinet is not bad, but the insides, the monitor shelf is gone, and the monitor keeps falling down, so I really wanted another cabinet. So I ended up picking up this one. And then this cabinet actually sucks. It's totally water damaged. So, but you know, it works. But the thing's falling apart, and I can actually, if I wanted to, I could break off like parts of it very easily. When I got this thing home, my car looked like a sawmill. There was so much sawdust, and it's just all waterlogged and bloated. You can see how it's expanding past the T-molding. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm probably going to take parts from this and that and make one really good one. And I just picked up this 3rd cabinet from a buddy of mine, and this cabinet is pretty good. It's got some issues on the bottom, but this is probably the cabinet I'm going to end up using. After I clean it up and I step back from it, if it looks good, I think this is the direction I'm going. But the problem with this cabinet is this bottom corner here. So this is all water damage. So I'm going to have to Bondo that and paint it brown. It probably will look okay. You probably won't even be able to tell once I put it in the row, but that's really the only problem with it. And of course, with this wood grain stuff, you know, you can't. I mean, how do you fix that? You can just paint it brown. Otherwise, you gotta apply all new wood grain on the whole side. And this is like almost like a contact paper they used or something, some kind of vinyl. So yeah, but I don't know. But anyway, that's my Froggers. Back here, I've got kind of my overflow area, I guess we'll call it. But and I've showed you guys this stuff before in the videos. But I've got actually, it's not original. This is a Nintendo versus Super Mario Brothers in a red Donkey Kong cabinet. And you know, these conversion kits were actually very popular back in the day. Nintendo released them to change Donkey Kongs and stuff into Nintendo Versus games, and they also did PC-10 versions of those as well. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up doing with that cabinet. The game actually works great. This is actually a great little Nintendo Versus cab, but I have the red tent, so I don't really have too much of a need, so I'm probably going to trade it with a friend or something for some other game. And then over here, I have an APB, which is not mine. It's a buddy of mine's, and he needs to get it out of my garage soon. Dan, come get your APB. And then I have a baby Pac-Man, which is part video, part pinball. Actually, this game is like my most watched video, so I'm sure you've seen it, but the game works perfect. The cabinet I have, though, is falling apart. You know, these particle board cabinets are a real problem, but I actually have a new cabinet over here, and I'm waiting to transfer the guts from that one to this one. I just haven't been that motivated to work on it. And then I have a Pac-Man over there with a 16-1 board in it that I'm kind of working on for a friend of mine. And then I have a jukebox I picked up at a warehouse about a year ago for free. I'm actually giving that to a friend of mine. That's a Rode TI2. It's actually a cool jukebox, like from the 70s. It's like something you'd see at Pizza Hut or something, like lights up all red. It's actually neat. I just don't have the space for it. And then I've been just kind of collecting monitors and stuff. Monitors is definitely something I'm always anxious to get a hold of and get in the garage here. Because the writing's on the wall, you know, they don't make monitors anymore, and the biggest problem with these games is monitors, and you know, it's really nice having spare parts and spare monitors around when you have to work on stuff or fix things. But other than that, that is the garage. Let's head back down to the basement. Alright, so we're back in the basement, and really that's it. That is John's Arcade as of September 2010, and you know what, I'm kind of slowing down, I have to admit. I have most of the games that I want. There's a couple that I'm looking for, like Zookeeper and Q*bert. I'm definitely going to be getting another pinball machine, but you know what, right now it's all about making this stuff work and just keeping it going, and this hobby is awesome. You know, if you've been thinking about collecting games, I recommend it. Don't be afraid to buy broken games. Learn about it. Google is your friend. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this rather lengthy 2-part tour, but we'll see you guys around. Thanks for subscribing. Check out my podcast, videogameoutsiders.com, and we will see you later.